Hello friends, and here we are with Wiggly Question Wednesday. Lots of questions, lots of comments to try and get through, so I'm going to do my best. You know I'm not good at this social media stuff, but I'm going to do my very best. We might not get through them all today, so we're going to see how we go. But the first one comes from J Killer. It's an interesting YouTube name. What was your favourite album that you did with the original Wiggles? That's a very good question. I haven't had time to think about any of these questions, so I'm going to think on the spot. I don't know, there's lots of good albums that we did with the Wiggles, and I would have to say that one of my favourites was Wiggly Safari that we did with Steve Irwin. That was a good album, had some good songs on it, and it was great to work with Steve. And the interesting thing was that even though we recorded the album with Steve, we didn't actually have him in the studio with us. We actually sent him the songs, and he did his parts on the songs separate to us, because I think we were touring and he was busy at the time. So we recorded them separately. In fact, we did that with a lot of people that we worked with when we did duets or collaborations with people, because a lot of these people are busy, as we were too. I mean, we were busy recording, filming, touring. So yeah, Wiggly Safari was probably one of my favourite albums to have worked on. So have a listen to it if you haven't listened to it yet, everybody, because it's a really good album. Now, another question from J Killer is, what's your favourite song from the new generation of the Wiggles? Well, now that's a very good question, because to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of the new generation of the Wiggles. I think you used to watch Ready Steady Wiggle. That was a good TV show, that one, and that was probably the most recent TV series that I've seen of the Wiggles. Haven't seen a lot of them since. Actually, having said that, one really good DVD they did was Rock and Roll Preschool. That was really cool. So we got an invite to the premiere of the Rock and Roll Preschool DVD, which was screened at a village cinema somewhere, I think it was, Hoyts or something like that, here in Australia. And it was great. It was amazing. I loved it. It was a great DVD. So if I had to pick a favourite song from the new generation of the Wiggles, and I reckon probably Rock and Roll Preschool, it's a great track. There's a number of good songs on that, actually, but let's say Rock and Roll Preschool for the new generation of the Wiggles. Final question, what was it like recording Go Santa Go with the new lineup? Well, that was interesting because it came up very quickly. I think Anthony or somebody had contacted me and said, hey, do you want to record this new version of Go Santa Go? Because iTunes had said that the Wiggles Christmas album, Wiggly Wiggly Christmas, was one of their top-selling Christmas albums on iTunes. And they wanted a new version of it with the new Wiggles. So they had to re-record some of the songs. And Anthony asked if I would do Go Santa Go, and I love that song. I think it's a great song. So going there and doing it with the new Wiggles was quite strange, I must say, because there I was in my old Wiggles outfit, and there were the new Wiggles in their new Wiggles outfits. And Lockie and I shared the lines in the song. And one of the interesting things about Lockie's voice is that his singing voice sounds quite similar to my singing voice. I went in the studio with Alpal, the sound engineer, and I recorded my vocal. About an hour and a half later, we were in the TV studio at the Wiggles studio, and we filmed the song, to which I'd just sung my vocal about an hour and a half earlier. Lockie did his vocal after mine, and we worked out who was sharing what lines, and we just started recording the choreography. Because it was so new to us both, neither Lockie nor I could sometimes tell our voices apart, because they do sound fairly similar. And it's quite strange when it's your own voice and you can't tell if it is your own voice or not. So that was kind of weird, but I've seen it since then. It came out really well, and I think it's great. So if you haven't seen that one either, you can check it out right here. There's going to be a link right here. You can just sort of click on, and I don't know how this all works. It's all text stuff, and it's a little bit beyond me these days. Believe it or not, I used to be able to program computers, but now I can't. So the next question comes from Ali K. Ali says, what was your favourite song to perform on stage with the group? Now, again, hard questions, guys. These are hard because, I mean, we did so many songs over the years. It's hard for me to pull one out of the air and say this was my favourite. I always enjoyed doing the monkey dance because that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of physical activity in that song. It's just such a great song to sing. It's a lot of fun. kids love that one too. So when they're watching the shows, the children in the audience, the parents, they all just got into it. So that was really cool from that point of view. I mean, there's other ones as well. I mean, there's just so many songs that are great songs to sing on stage. Even this is going to show you how silly I am, but I can't even remember some of the names of the songs. I think it's called Dancing in the Sand. It was from the CD or DVD Wiggle Bay. I think it's called Dancing in the Sand. I loved singing that on stage, and that was towards the end of my time with the Wiggles, so sort of around 2005, 2006, we were doing that a lot on stage, and around that time I wasn't real fit. I was a little bit on the heavy side, and the shows were getting harder for me back then, so often I'd just play guitar on that song. And I enjoyed that. I was up there rocking away with Mars on guitar as well, so that was kind of fun. My favourite song to perform on stage, I would have to say, I'm going to say Monkey Dance. Yep, I think the Monkey Dance was my favourite song to do because it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I loved the energy in it. It was great. It was always a challenge to do a song like that and be able to sing live. Oh, there's a few questions here from Speedy My Shorts. I don't know how these usernames work, guys. I'm sure that's not your real name. It could be, but probably isn't. There is an episode of Neighbours where you and the other Wiggles were on. Yeah, we were, that's true. However, this episode is lost. Do you remember this, and can you shed some info on it? Yeah, I can shed some info on it. Yes, we were on Neighbours. I can confirm that. Is it lost? I don't know. I'm sure somebody has it somewhere. I don't have a copy of it. I wouldn't mind seeing it because I don't know if I ever saw the actual episode. But that was kind of cool. I mean, Neighbours is a big show here in Australia. Our US friends probably don't know of Neighbours. Our UK friends would because it's huge over there. But Neighbours has been running here in Australia for about 30 years, I think now. We were on it back in, I don't know. Somebody will have to tell me what year that was. I kind of think it was around 2003, 2004, maybe. But the thread of the story was we turned up to do a charity performance or a benefit concert for somebody who was sick, raising money, I think, perhaps. And all I can remember clearly is that it was a thrill to be on Ramsay Street, which was the street that it was set in. So, you know, I'd grown up watching the show as a kid, and then I got to be on the show. So that was kind of cool. Being on Ramsay Street, meeting some of the stars, and knocking on the door and having young Holly Valance opened the door to me at that point in time, and I know I've got the script for it somewhere, and I think it's on display at the Powerhouse Museum here in Australia in Sydney. So if you ever get to Australia and get to Sydney, go to the Powerhouse Museum because you'll see a great exhibition of a whole lot of Wiggles stuff there, and I'm pretty sure that my script from the Neighbours episode is on display. If it's not, then I've got it in a box stored away somewhere. Question number 2 from Speedy My Shorts. According to Sydney Morning Herald, the Wiggles filmed a TV pilot in 1995 for the ABC, but the project never got off the ground due to artistic differences. Know anything about this? Does anything left of this project exist? Well, I do know quite a lot about it, actually, because I was a part of it, and I think I have a copy of it somewhere. So if I can find it, I don't think I'd be allowed to post it on YouTube because it probably belongs to the ABC. So unless somebody else out there can find a copy of it, you'll probably never see it. But I do remember quite a bit about it. It took us 5 days to film a 5-minute pilot, a minute per day. Back in those days, we were filming a 45-minute video in a couple of days. So for us, it wasn't time well spent, 5 days to shoot 5 minutes of content. So that was one artistic difference. The other artistic difference that we had with the ABC on that project was the fact that the person who was executive producing the video, or the guy who was EP, said that the Wiggles shouldn't talk to the camera. We don't know how to talk to children, so we're not going to have the Wiggles talking to the audience. Now, at this point in time, we'd sold, I don't know how many DVDs or videos at that point in time, but it was significant. It was quite a lot. And we firmly believed in our background as early childhood educators that talking to the audience like I am now, is the way to communicate. It's the way to get through our message to the children. So that was the other artistic difference. So for all those reasons, that project didn't happen. So what happened was we ended up producing our own TV series, So we funded that ourselves, and that was the great thing about the Wiggles. We were independent. We could do whatever we wanted. We could spend our money the way we wanted to. So that's what we did. We shot our own TV series. We had Anthony's cousin, Greg Truman, write the scripts for that series. We got a deal with Channel 7 here in Australia, which was a sort of deal with Disney Channel. So the deal was that Channel 7 would air the series first, and then Disney Channel would have the rights to that afterwards. And that deal led to us then flying to Disneyland in Anaheim and doing a performance there, which Disney Channel Australia filmed. And it was like, the Wiggles in Disneyland or something like that. I can't remember what the actual name was, but that was the thrust of it. Watch the Wiggles, Australia's own Wiggles, fly and perform at Disneyland. So that was something exciting, because I had been to Disneyland once before then, but being Australian, growing up watching Disney movies, watching Disney TV shows, knowing about Disneyland, and never having been there as a kid was amazing. Not only to go there, but to perform there. It was incredible. So that opportunity blew me away. But not only that, that performance at Disneyland led to us doing deals with our major American partners that really broke us into the US. So we had people from Lyric Studios attend that performance, and they were the people that were distributing the Barney DVDs, or back then videos, and they thought we were great, and so they wanted to sign us up. And it was really Lyric, who became Hit quite a few years later, that broke the Wiggles into the US. Yeah, sure, we were on Fox Family Network for a while there, and then after that we were signed to Disney TV, Playhouse Disney I think it was called, and that really helped as well. So there were a number of partners over there who believed in the Wiggles and really helped us catapult what we were doing to a successful thing, which enabled us to meet a lot of you people, and you became fans, and we're very grateful for that. So thank you. Another question, Wiggles fan, that's a good name. Hey Greg, you were such a big part of my childhood along with the other Wiggles. One thing I would like to ask is, what was your favourite TV series of the Wiggles to film? Okay, so I think when I was in the group we did maybe 5 TV series. I can't remember. I would say the first one we did was a lot of fun for a number of reasons, because it was our first one and the scripts were really... I'm not going to say funny. I mean, they were funny, but they weren't, hilariously funny. They were great, and they were probably right up our alley in terms of the style of humour that we should be doing. And they were written by Anthony's cousin, Greg Truman. He did a great job with those. And the great thing about being in the Wiggles was that we did have a lot of say in most of the things we did. Look, basically doing anything with the Wiggles was a lot of fun. So that's why it's hard to say one thing was more fun than another. But I guess looking at the history of where we came from, our first TV series was probably the biggest learning curve for us, and was a lot of fun along the way as well. So I am going to call it a day for today, but that's only for today. So stay tuned, everybody. I will be posting more answers to your Wiggly questions. I'll get a chance to do some more new questions. All right, post them below this one, and if you can... I don't know what this terminology is, everybody, but there's like a thumb picture somewhere. Is that called a like? I don't know. If you want to like this, then click on the thumb, do that. And if you want to subscribe to I don't know, there's like a little button that says subscribe, and I really don't know enough about this, but like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff that you do on YouTube. You know more about it than me, and stay tuned for more answers to your questions coming up real soon. Thanks again, friends, and catch you later.